Hey, everybody! I'm here. I'm here. That was super weird. I don't know what happened. It seemed like I was streaming to the right place, and I was watching it on YouTube, and I don't know what's going on. Can everybody hear me? Just as a check. Okay, so we're back. I don't know if what I said before is going to make it to the stream, but I guess it doesn't matter anyways. What I was talking about was that let's just start from the beginning, is that oh wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the donation. I've been good. Been hard at work here on CastleMiner Z. So I'm still doing work on the dungeons. I should probably stop this at some point, but it's been so much fun. And what I said was, in the time period since the last stream, I did a bunch of work on the dungeons, and I like to do these streams when stuff comes together, because it's really cool to watch things actually come together versus just to watch me struggle with math. So here is the current. Let's do it. Here is the current state of the dungeon creator code. So I don't want to go through all of this because there's a lot of data in here. But once I sort of got this together, I added I added a whole bunch of data layers to let me do cool things inside the dungeons. And now what I can do is I can take this into the game, and I can do really cool things with the dungeons, and I can build different kinds of dungeons because I have a lot of information now inside of the game. So I'm going to run the game right now. I got it up here running. I'm going to run the game, and I don't have anything changed right now, so everything's going to look how it left off. So I just want to look at it, except I took the water out of the ground. So I have the ability now to do really interesting stuff. Like, I can decorate the dungeons in different ways automatically. I can do different things in different rooms. And I wanted to try a bunch of those things. Also, we have the hieroglyphics in here. That's happening through one of these data layers on the dungeons. So what I'm going to do is play around with a bunch of these, and we're going to tune this up and make some cool things. And then we're going to see how everything looks. So I think the torches seem dimmer than they did last time for some reason. Should probably take a look at that. That's hard because the room I'm in right now is kind of bright, so I don't know if I'm seeing this accurately. They should be a little bit dark. And I got my body light here that I can turn on. In the final game, there'll probably be a bunch of different ways that you can light the environments up. So this might not be that unrealistic. Let's get one of the things I can do now is I'm trying to think of, one of the things I can do now is these torches are kind of randomly placed, but I have a mode where I can place them on the doorways themselves. So I was going to actually give that a try first, I think. I'm surprised that I think everybody's returned from it. I'm surprised by this point I don't have a bunch of questions about when the game is going to be released or if there'll be new zombies in it. So in the world builder here, and I moved all this code over to C++ and Unreal in the meantime too. So this is like a really good place to start. One of the things here, we're placing torches, and I have a mode where I can do this with in a more deliberate way. So let's try this first, because I think this is super easy. I call them sconces. Door jam sconces. So this will put torches on the door jams. And I have, this is one of the data. You can see the data fields here are these green things are door sconces. The red things are doors, the pink is door jams, and the green are door sconces. So I was going to see what torches looked like if it was only on door jams. So let's do a build in place and run this. And now you can see this is totally broken. Not fun for a stream. Something's wrong here because this is not doing what we're supposed to do at all. I think I have wow, that's super suspicious. So the hardest thing is when you're building something like this is you want stuff to make sense. And if stuff doesn't make sense, then you got serious problems. Even if it's wrong and makes sense, it's better than it not making sense. The frame rate here got really bad, so I'm imagining we probably have too many torches. Okay, so now the torches are all next to the doors. And the frame rate is like absolutely horrible, which means we probably have too many of these things. But I'd like to see how they look. And this is one of the reasons why we have like killer PCs when we do game development. It's interesting that there's none here. I don't really know why that is. It's maybe because this is on a boundary. Because a lot of times we want to experiment with stuff without having to optimize it. But this is just like too many torches. It looks cool though, and we might add this later on. Here we have the predictable questions here. Will this oh, I like that you guys are answering the questions in the chat. Yeah, will it come to my Xbox? Yeah, it's up to Microsoft basically. Will there be an option for mining block textures? I don't really understand that question. Okay. I think this is so slow it's going to make developing this stuff unusable. The performance with the torches is something that we're still trying to work out. The lighting in this game is kind of a tough problem to solve. There's a couple really tough problems to solve, but the lighting is one of them. I actually think this is probably the right way to do this, though, because it actually looks pretty cool. One of the things I can do, I could try this, is if we put, and these are the cool things we can do. Like, for example, we could only put these in the hallways. Let me see if I do, if we, yes. So if room ID is equal to 0 and this means that basically if we're in a hallway, then the torches will appear next to the doors. Otherwise, we'll use the random torches. And this is the cool, now that everything's together, we can make these changes really fast. Hopefully. Haven't tried it yet. Somebody asked me how my day is going. I really appreciate that. It's pretty good so far. Like, I've, you know, did all my normal everyday stuff, went to the gym, took a run. got everything ready for the stream, and here I am. So now in the hallways, we're seeing torches by the doors. I made a mistake. There's a mistake here. Room ID is greater than 0. No, somebody asked if I made a beef Wellington. I did not make a beef Wellington, but I should totally stream a beef Wellington episode here, where I just make a beef Wellington and then eat it live on the stream, like the whole thing. Okay, here we go. So inside the rooms, the torches are the torches are randomly placed, and it's funny, the shaders have to build there every once in a while. And then when we're in the hallways, it's interesting that the torches would have ended. Have to find a hallway. The interesting thing about, here we go. And in the hallways, the torches are next to the doors. I don't know. It definitely looks more orderly, but almost like too regular. I think I almost like the random torches better. But it's easy to try this stuff now. So one of the things I can do here is I can decorate the door jambs differently than the rest of the dungeons, and I think I'm going to do that. What I think I want here is the door jambs to be differently, but I actually want a space between the ceiling and the top door jamb. I think that there's none right now, if I'm correct. Yeah, so I'm going to raise the ceiling up 1 unit. And then I'm going to double the ceiling because I want spaces where I can put things in the ceiling that can drop down. And that's one of the things I can do with the options I have. Somebody's asking where are the zombies? Here, let me spawn a couple zombies here. These are stand-in zombies to test them, but oops, I'm flying. That's probably why they can't find me. Yeah. Somebody's asking here if the laser guns will be more optimized than the original. You have to realize that everything is being rewritten from the ground up. Like there's nothing that is really shared from the old game to this one. So whatever problems you had with the laser guns, I can almost promise you that they won't exist and that there'll be other problems that will replace it. I think that's the most realistic thing to think of. Okay, so let's at least get the world structured in the way that we want to do it. This torch thing is a little bit too expensive to run right now, so I'm going to comment this out and go back to the random torches because at least it controlled the amount of torches that were in the area, and I can bug John later on so that we could have more torches. Engine height 7, 1 higher. And where do we do this? We go we cap the ceilings. I should really do this right. Okay, so let's go to this. 4 is equals 0 to, let's make another one. When will the game be dropping? I was waiting for that question. I don't know. When it's done, which hopefully will be sometime this year. But if you keep watching the streams, you'll see that's cool, and the AI did that for me, so that is cool. So dungeon height. So the dungeon should be a little bit. Let's see how that works. Oh, the beta sign up. Yeah. Signing up for the beta list does not necessarily ensure that you'll be in, but we usually do betas in the order that people sign up, more or less. So I need to, at some point I got to put a website up. It's like I'm struggling to get all the things done that I need to do. Somebody's asking if there'll be new enemies. I'm pretty sure there will. Okay, we were going to see how the dungeons look. So the ceiling should be, wrong. Something's wrong. Yeah, this, stone walkway. And let's do another one here. We'll call this floor thickness. So 3, 7, 2, so that's 12 units per floor of the dungeon. I would love to have like a multi-floored dungeon thing going on. Let's save all. Do a build in place. Somebody's asking where the beta. We will definitely run the beta on the PC. Like there's no question about this. So this should be too thick now if we did this right. I should just use my... I knocked another block under there. Yes. The ceilings are a little bit higher. There should be a space. Okay, the door, we don't want the doors that high. That's a mistake. And then the floors are 3 deep. Yes. So let's fix the doors. Let's just make another one here that says door height. And where do we do the doors? If it's a door here, yes, so it's equal to door height, comma, is less than dungeon height. Yeah, so this should give us what we want. It's interesting. Somebody's talking here about the explosives. The explosives are going to work way different in this game. But I'm not going to talk about that till we actually have the explosives in the game. Do we have door jams? Okay, cool. We have 2 spaces. This should be, it doesn't look right. Oh, I guess it is right. Okay. Let's see if we can put the door jams in now. Somebody's asking this if I'm doing this by myself, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I have a team of 4 people. This is generally the size of the team that has done most of our games. We occasionally would pull in resources from other places, depending on the game and what the budget we had for it. But it's kind of like a band. There's 4 of us. Somebody asked me what percentage we were done in the game. I would say like 30 to 40%, yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on, like behind the scenes, and a lot of it isn't so visible to see. Somebody's asking if there's going to be live services. I found that this means a lot of different things to different people. We have a plan to continually update the game regularly afterwards if the game is received well. And I have somebody on staff who is like a famous game designer who is going to be in charge of that. And at some point I could probably expose who he is, but we're going to call him Developer X, I think, from now on. Did I ever think this many people would still be supporting CastleMiner Z? No, I know it's very surprising to me, and we're very grateful and thankful that people are this enthused about this game after this amount of time. Somebody says, "Will there be passive entities?" And I don't really know what that means. Okay, let's. I want to try this thing with the door jams. So let me get the sides of them working. I guess it'd be easier to just do the walls come in first. Okay, so this is on the walls. I could just do this down here. Door jam. Then what we want to do is we want to go from 0 to the door height. Zero to the door height. Oops. And this is all correct, and we'll call this, we'll just put the stone. Let's just put the limestone walkway up there for now. Should look up the save. Control Shift S, Control Shift S, Control Alt F11. Oop. Somebody's asking if it'll be Xbox exclusive. Obviously not, because we're developing for the PC first. I mean, I guess there's a possibility that if Microsoft offered us some sort of sweetheart deal, that we might take that. I think that's a really long shot, though. Okay, this is cool. This is the beginning of this. And I just got to replace the tops of the doors. So let me do that next. What I can do here is jam. This is a evoxel types. Is equal to door height. Somebody's asking if there'll be sound occlusion in the game. They're asking about that. I would like that, yeah. We haven't looked into doing any sound stuff yet, so I don't know. I'm imagining we will have sound occlusion in the game. Do we get this? Okay, here we go. So, I don't know. I guess this kind of adds something to it. The doors look really, they're really called out. Every time I do more to these dungeons, they almost feel less realistic. Which kind of surprises me. Like the more, I think they were almost better off when they were. Definitely calls them out as doors. Okay, so now this is where the fun really starts, because I have this plan for randomizing the contents of these rooms, and I'm just gonna like knock through all the options of doing this in random combinations, and we should end up with something that is a really cool set of variations. So I have a whole system for doing this. So the variations, the first one is pillars. They'll either be small pillars, no pillars, small pillars, or large pillars. And I think the ratios here are going to be 50% no pillars, and we'll do 25, 25. The next thing will be lava floors. And we'll do lava floors, no lava 80% of the time, yes lava, maybe, no, 90-10, I think. I thought about taking lava falls. Same thing, no falls 90% of the time, yes falls 10% of the time. I was thinking about doing fountains. No fountains 50% of the time. 25% of the time we'll do water fountains. And 25% of the time we'll do lava fountains. This is where I'm going to take the pillars and turn them into fountains. Actually, what we should do here is 80% of the time no falls. 20/20 we'll do lava falls and waterfalls. Oh, and then filled rooms. No access rooms. I think 50% of the time there'll be lava. Actually, no. 75% of the time there'll be lava, and 25% of the time there'll be treasure. So I'm just going to try to knock all these things down. Somebody here is asking if... okay, a bunch of questions here. Let's take some time to answer these questions. What's my favorite weather for the remake? I kind of like the thunderstorms. What's the story behind the aliens? The aliens crashed on Earth, and you're hijacking their space goo to make super cool laser weapons. Will the beta be on Xbox? No. I'm pretty sure the beta will not be on Xbox. There was one other really good question here, which I missed. Somebody asking here about will the enemies have different behaviors, and we just haven't started working on that yet. Will the avatars be usable in the original game? No. Somebody says they haven't hit their protein target today, and shame on you for that. Somebody's asking if there's structures in Hell. There's a lot more stuff that I want to do with Hell. Okay, let's take a look at doing some of these. Let's do the pillars first. I need to get... all of these rooms have a room ID. Which... Oh, I got the room ID here. And I had a way of doing this. Let me look. I was researching it before I did this, and I found like a really good way. There's like a hash function. Yeah, with a modulus. Okay, let's try this. I think it's long. Not really familiar with the C++ in Unreal, so I'm going to look up I'm pretty sure that this is it. Int 64. Okay. Room ID times 17 plus, let's throw in some modulus 4. Okay. Okay. If choice is equal to 1, let's make sure we got the order of operations right here. Whoa, okay. Somebody's asking if I thought of secret bosses into the game. The only thing I don't like about secret bosses is that it's a lot of work to put in something in a game that people aren't going to see. So I like the idea of bosses, but I don't like the idea of secret bosses. Let's see. So these are going to be a pillar. So let's go from the where did we do this? 0 to actually what we could just do is just do a bool do pillar is equal to false and do big pillar. Let's see if this probably be a good structure for doing this. So in the one we do walls, if we are walls or do actually any of them. Okay, if this should actually do this for us. This is like the first step. Control. Build failed. Okay. Yikes. Did not want to start Visual Studio. No, this is like bad news. Okay. Tell you what. I'm gonna run an ad while I fix this crash. I think it's a good time to do that. Okay, I don't know if you guys are back yet. This is definitely the year. So let's see what we get now. There should be some rooms that have pillars. That's weird, as before we were getting the pillars were of like the type of the room. And there should be some that have small pillars, and there should be every once in a while a big pillar in the middle of a room. God, this is so hard to see. This is a really horrible way to see these distributions. So these are definitely empty rooms. Half of them should be empty. So I think what I'm going to do is lift the top off the dungeon. Let's just do that really quick. And then at least we could see these from the top. Ceiling thickness, yeah. So let's just knock the top off the dungeons. Somebody asked me if there's plans. I know that I've done a lot of these streams on these dungeons. It's unfortunately kind of how stuff goes with a lot of this. Like everything that you do, this is, I guess, an appreciation for this, that every little thing you do tends to take a lot of time. So when people say things like, hey, just throw in this or that, it's like it comes at the cost of something else. Okay, so here we go. When we look at it, some of the rooms have big pillars. Some of them have corner pillars. I think this is kind of what we want. It actually feels like a pretty good distribution to me. Try to decide if I turn these things into other things, I might want more of them around. I think we'll continue the rest of this with the top off the dungeon like this. So let's see. The next thing down our list was lava floors. So I wanted a 10% chance of lava floors. So where did we do this? Choice, we'll 34, 17. We'll do this by 10, yeah, and bool lava floor is choice less equal to 0. I guess that would give us a 1 out of 10 chance of a lava floor. And if we have a lava floor, we'll put the pools back in. And we'll put this in the lava block. Lava. I think it's a surface lava block. My plan for the dungeons, I don't like to say things until I have it in the game yet, is that the dungeons will definitely be under the... I don't see any lava floors. Huh. Let's see if we got this right. Let's make it... is less than 5, less than or equal to 5. There's a lot of talk here about the beta and the release of the game. Instead of answering all these questions, I think I should just talk about our plan as is. I think the first thing we're going to do is release a very limited alpha of the game to like select people that will do like streaming for us, people who will build things and stream things for us so that we can get video of things that are built inside the world. This will be a very limited release. It won't have most of the game features in it, and probably only to like 10 to 20 people at most. The next phase will be the beta release of the game, where we'll pick people in a fairly large number to play the finished version of the game that may have bugs in it. And those people that get that version of the game will definitely get to keep it. We've always let people keep the games after their betas. And then the final version will go to Steam as a release. I don't see us doing early access. I was never a big fan of early access. The game that ends up on Steam will be a finished version of a game. And then what happens after that is determined by how well it is received there. Separately, we'll release on the Xbox if that is something that is a possibility for us. So that's generally our plan. If you sign up for the beta, it gives us a way to, stay in contact with you so that we can give you information about any of these things going on. We definitely have lava floors now. Okay. Yeah, that's just like way too many. I'm surprised that the 0 didn't give us one. If we go, 8. This is basically like our percentage chance of getting lava. So this should be 20% of, oh no, it's less. It actually doesn't look any different. Somebody's asking if I'm streaming on Twitch. No, I'm not streaming on Twitch right now. I was going to look into how I could simultaneously stream on Twitch. It's almost like the opposite of what I want. But I'm not doing that right now. This is 90% of the rooms have lava. This is not right. Oh, is greater than 90. There we go. Yeah, somebody's saying that I should do. One of the guys on the team told me I should be streaming everywhere all at once. I probably should do that. Have not done that yet. Okay, so this is cool. Here we got this. Some of the floors are rooms with lava. Some of them have pillars. So we're getting all the combinations. Pillars with lava. It's random combinations, and that's what we're going for. Hey, thank you. Is the remake going to be separate from the original CMZ? Yes, it is going to be a separate product. Yeah, I will. I'll set up Twitch this week and then stream on there too. Okay, so this is cool. 10% of the rooms have this. So let's just go down the list and start knocking more stuff down. So falls. So what I wanted to do is have water or lava falling from the ceiling. So we can do the same thing. Fall choice. Let's just throw another prime number in here. 29, 11. Lava Falls is if it's greater than 90, if it's less than 10. Okay, and now let's implement those. When we do the pillars, I almost think we should put these pillars in as a separate thing. Somebody's asking about streaming on TikTok. I used to stream on TikTok. I should look into that too. I think the problem I'm going to run into there is I don't want to get into this on this stream, is the video format over there, trying to get it to work in both places. So let's do this. What are we, about an hour into this now with the I think I want to do the pillars different. Man, I'm so surprised that the wall block choice doesn't. Just break these out. We'll just handle drawing pillars differently than we do handle drawing the walls. Take these out. Where do we do the walls? You don't have to worry about doors and stuff like that. I guess we'll make the falls. Did I put fountains in here? I guess one of the ways to do this is that the fountains could be a combination of the falls and the pillars. Okay, so I think that's actually a good idea. And then we don't have to do fountains separately, and then the no access rooms. And then we're kind of done. And we'll get an idea of what it's like to run around in these. So if we have a flag we're on a small pillar, and we're doing the small pillars. Or this is it. So we're doing pillars, and then what we have to say here is if we're doing why is this confusing me? Okay, let me figure this out. If we are doing pillars, it's just easier to break these out. If we're doing pillars and we're not doing any falls, then we just make a pillar. If we are making falls, and we are not making pillars, no, this is the way to do this. Sorry, this is usually how this stuff goes. If we have the pillar flag, let's just start with that. And this just means that we are at the spot where we have pillars. Okay. If we have the falls, oh, we kind of need both. This is interesting. I'm just trying to make sure that the distributions of these end up being the right way. Like, we have to decide where this feature goes. Oh, somebody wants us to post the Discord link here. This is the community-run Discord. It's not ours. These people have run this for a long time, and here, I'll pin this to the top. Again, it's not ours, we don't moderate it, but I do visit it regularly. How much will the game cost? I don't know. How much do you think it should cost? Gonna crack open a new Coke as we do this. And as you guys answer that, I am going to run an ad and try to figure out the best way to put this together here. So tell me how much you think the game should cost and come back. Yeah, some people are saying they're not seeing the ads. I don't really know how YouTube serves ads up. I appreciate you guys sitting through this. This really helps fund the development of the game. It seems like a stupid thing. I hate ads myself. I hate doing this, but it actually really helps us out. Okay, I just want to start with this right now. And make sure I have the pillars back in the right way. And then I'm going to start turning the pillars into different things. And I'm thinking that maybe there should be more of these around. Okay, so pillars are in there. I see big pillars. I see little pillars. I see lava rooms. Cool. So now if we're... So I guess the different way to do this would be the pillar types is really what this should be. So let's do this. And this will be stone, fall, lava fall, lava fountain, waterfall, water fountain. Let's try making each one of these. Crap. I constantly get this out of memory error on my stream here, and I have to figure out a way to fix this. Oh, somebody has this idea here. They say just make 15-minute videos and put an ad in at the beginning and ending, and just make 15-minute videos, put an ad at the beginning and end, and make it a playlist so that people could watch it and contribute. And it's funny you say that because we have a, I'll send you the link. We have a, oh, thank you so much, Duncan. Thank you so much for the donation. Let me show you the monetizing playlist. This is set up for this purpose. Yeah, people are giving me advice on how to get the YouTube to play more ads. I think it's a complicated system, but anyways, this playlist is a long playlist. You could just queue it up and run it, and you're essentially contributing to the games by this. Let's try some of these out. Okay, so the first thing, these are going to be our stone pillars. Let's put the lava falls in next. Lava falls. And this should be actually really easy. These are, we just get the voxel height of the ceiling dungeon height, I think. And put in surface lava. And I'm going to comment out my stone pillars and try this. So the pillars now will all turn into these lava falls, which I see absolutely none of. Okay. So we definitely have something wrong. Let's see how I screwed that up. Oh, my bad. Yeah. Here we go. So these rooms will have lava falls, or they should be just one block above the ceiling. Let's put the ceiling back in and go in the dungeon and see what those actually would look like. I actually want to see if those look cool. So here's a lava room. I'm wondering if, as I see these, I'm wondering if I should randomize the pillar numbers so I could have it just 1 or 2 pillars pouring lava in. We should see these every once in a while as we go through the dungeon. I mean, they would never be this common, but and here's a big one. I don't know. I kind of like it. The dungeons are going to be relatively common to find, depending on what areas you're in. Okay, that worked. So let's try the same thing with waterfalls. Water block. So some of these, the water doesn't light up, so it's a little bit harder to, probably harder to find these. Let's just break through some walls and see. Let's put our torch on. I gotta really look at the brightness of these torches. They're kind of dark. That's a lava pool. One of these rooms gonna have a man. I am not surprised I haven't seen one yet. What kind of setup will you need to run the CastleMiner Z remaster? Right now, I'm saying it's a quantum computer. Okay, I must have something wrong here. I'm not seeing any of these water blocks show up. What did I do? What did I do? Wall block. Oops. What a stupid bug. Okay. You'll need a big one too. You'll need the one with all like the copper tubes and the liquid nitrogen coming out of it. Okay, here we go. So we got some water columns in here. Kind of wondering if I should, again, if I should randomize those pillars out. I don't really know. Let's see if we could see another one of these. Yeah, okay, so we're seeing these every once in a while. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So the idea I had for the fountains was to build the rock up like a certain height and have the water come off of it. And I'll try those out now too. So I'll build those with lava. Okay, so what we'll do here is we'll go let's just try this out. 0 to and we'll put this to be the wall block, and then we will make another one which will be the surface lava. Okay, so I'm kind of curious to see how these fountains look before I go any further with them. So let's try this. Somebody's asking if the CMZ remaster will be on Steam. Yes, absolutely. Okay. I kind of like it. It's good for variety. Although I think having the 4 every time is gonna get old. Let's break through some walls here and see if we... Yeah, this is what the big one looks like. Okay. And we could try out the water version of that really quickly. Is this just one block? I don't like that. Let's do this differently. Let's just do one block and one block. Makes the code a little simpler too. Dungeon floor level +1, dungeon floor level +2. Find one of these things. Yeah. And we have the floor here. Okay, yeah, that's okay. That's our fountains. Cool, 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 cool. I don't think I can remove water blocks right now. Okay, so let's get the distribution of these right. Let's pop the top off the dungeon again. And then we will distribute these in a different way. Lava floor, no. So I think if let's do this. Water lava choice will just be the floor choice. Make it its own thing. So this is a 50-50 blend. We'll use that for something else. And we'll call this the fall choice. And then we will say water fountain. There we go. Yeah, this is the easiest way to do it. Falls fountain. Extra paren there. Okay. So what we can do here is when we do the pillars, we could say if falls I don't want the autocomplete. And just let me type. Else if fountains, otherwise we get stone pillars. And we will put the fall code in here. And this will be, all we got to do here is do a choice between fall choice, water lava, question mark, water block. This is so elegant. Lava, surface lava. Fountain, take our fountain code that we just made. And put in this. Otherwise, we do a pillar. Okay, cool. And perfect. This is a great way to organize this. This was a good process to go through. This was like really typical. Will I allow mod support on Steam? I have an open thing with the community where I'd like to know how they would expect modding to work. I would like to cooperate with them, but nobody has ever really explained to me exactly what the modders need. So it would be helpful if somebody told us exactly what they wanted for modding. Okay. Fuck, I thought the top of the dungeon was off. I guess we took the floors off instead. How many programming languages can I program in? This is an interesting question. Not a whole lot. I'm trying to think if I could list them off. There's probably about 10 of them. I have a weird thing for picking programming languages up. I can become proficient in a programming language in a few hours usually. And that's because I've programmed in a lot of different types of languages from the very beginning. I could probably go through the list if I wanted to. I started programming in BASIC. I programmed in Quick Basic. I programmed in C++. I programmed in assembler in many different types of CPUs. I have programmed a lot in C#. I've done a considerable amount of Python programming. I've done a considerable amount of SQL. I did some Perl at one point. Trying to think of what else there was in there. A lot of shader programming, and then shaders in different languages. Okay, pop the top of the dungeon. So now what we get is, here we go. We got lava rooms, we got lava fountains, water rooms. It's interesting how the fountains appear in front of doors. That seems like a common thing. This is kind of cool. Like, this is what we want. Pillars, some of the rooms have pillars. I think there's too many of them, maybe. Like, I think they should be more rare than this, but I think that this is the layout that we want in the dungeon. I used to do. This is a funny story about me. Is I used to I used to program plugins for like 3D Studio and Maya in my job, and then I started to lie after a while and tell people that I couldn't do it because I hated it so much. And then invariably when I would be at a job at the AAA game industry, I would slip and I would say something, and they would find out that I could actually program, like Max plugins, and then I would be forced to do it. But I hated doing it so much that I used to tell people that I didn't know how. Yeah, the only thing I think here is that there's probably just too much of these materials around. So it looks cool, but we got to dial it back a little bit. And that's pretty easy because we just take these and make this 95 and 5, and we'll get more pillars than we... Oh, no, this is the lava floors. Oh, we're doing this wrong, is what's going on. Okay, wait a second. Let's see what it looks like for real. This should be the fall choice. I started programming when I was 5 years old. My father was like interested in computers, and he felt like when I was 5 years old that I needed to start to learn how to program. So he taught me how, and I made video games by the time I was 6 or 7 years old. I made some text-based adventure games that I wish were still around because they were kind of cool. Okay. This is cool, but it's way, way too common. So let's dial these back to 5% chance of either one of these happening. So overall, there should be a 10% chance of any of these. This is an interesting. My father was an electrical engineer. He was always a really big fan of my games. He died a few years back, right around the time we were putting Death Toll together. But he would play our games for thousands of hours and test them. And he was really into video games, and it was the 1980s, and video games was a big deal, especially for electrical engineers. And his friends would, a lot of them worked in the arcade industry. This is like way, way too common still. His friends worked in the arcade industry. And we would go to arcades every weekend with them, and a lot of them had video games in their house, which was a big deal back then. But a lot of his friends worked in the arcade, like in the early arcade industry. So video games were like sort of like a really big deal growing up. It was kind of like a lifestyle thing. And engineering was a big thing too, and art. So like the combination of all those two things are sort of like I was really conditioned to do this. I don't think there was anything else I ever could have done. Way too common. I'm wondering, like, if I really back this down, and I'm wondering if I have a bug in here because it's so falls fountains. Yeah. Yeah, everybody's giving me condolences. I really appreciate that. It was actually a big deal. It was my dad was such an instrumental part in something's wrong because these should not be appearing. It seems like the statistics seem to have no effect on this. It was a big deal. I always thought it was funny that my dad just played video games like obsessively, and he was very like he would call me up and he would be like, "You gotta, this you gotta fix this. Like this is broken and people are gonna hate it, and you gotta fix it." And he would be like very very serious about it. So it's kind of funny. And he played a lot of CastleMiner, like especially on the Xbox. Like he played the hell out of CastleMiner. He was also a big Call of Duty player too, which was interesting. I'm just really curious. This is like this. The odds here just seem really off, which is making me think that there's some sort of math error. So I'm just, for sanity, I'm just going to turn them off and make sure that our thing isn't. So we should see none of these right now. Okay. Yeah, it's just a couple lava floors. And then a 1% chance of falls. 1 out of 100 rooms, that means, should have falls, even if they have pillars, because if they don't have pillars, we don't even do this. And do we see any of them? No, none, which makes sense. So let's do 1 out of 10. Okay, something's wrong because we shouldn't see waterfalls at all right here. So, oh, I'm mixing these up. The water lava choice is, no, the water lava choice is 50%. So, and now we should only see falls here, but only 10% of the time. That could be 1 out of 10. It's just too much. Oh, greater than 10, 90% of the time, yes. Yes, I think we got this wrong. It's actually probably right. I still just think it's too much. It's too common. So 95% of the time. This is a 5%. Like 1 out of 5 out of 100 rooms. Okay. Do we see any? Yeah, and we see ones every once in a while. I think that's probably what we want. And then let's put the water back in here. Less than 5 will be our fountain choice. Take this out. Somebody's asking if the game will be on Xbox. Welcome to the channel. If Microsoft lets us be there, we will. Let's see. I think the way to do this is to have it decide to be pillar like a 3-way decision, and then if it's both of them, it's a fountain instead of increasing the fountains. This is fine though. I'll work on the statistics on my own. This is one of the hardest things to do, is to get something to balance where you want to see it sometimes, especially in these worlds where you want to see it sometimes but not in others. The one thing I want to do before we leave, though, is I want to do the filled rooms, which will be the last one. Let me just, I don't know, 63 and 17. Here we go. And how are we going to do this? If we have a no access room and we are a filled room, then we're going to go from 0 to dungeon height, floor level plus Y. When we do the pools, how do we do this? Dungeon height, and we'll do this as, actually I'll do one of these. John told me not to put water underground, but I think it's going to be okay here. And then we're just walking up the floor height and filling it. So let's just see if this screws up. So now rooms that have no access should be, some of them should be filled with lava. And they are. Here we go. Here's a no access room filled with lava. This is going to be really hard to test. And then sometimes they're filled with water. I'm actually curious. The reason I did this is I wanted it to be like a surprise if you were digging through the dungeon, but it's going to be so hard to come across this randomly. So this is a good example. Like if you were here and you were like all of a sudden it's like lava would start coming out, almost like a trap. I guess if we went inside and just dug enough, we would find one. The same thing here. So if you just started digging through walls, you could end up with like a surprise. This is cool. So let's test this out, and then I think I'm going to end the stream. So we're going to do... what I'll do here is we will put the ceiling back on the dungeon. Oh, you know what I should have done? I wanted to make sure that we did this correctly. That's fine. Put the ceiling back on the dungeon. I'm going to make the filled room always be true. So we have a better chance of running into them. And we'll go down and we'll see what it looks like. And I'm going to just randomly dig around to see if I can, how long it takes me to find one of these things. So we found a lava room down here. Finding a lot of these lava rooms. I've definitely got to work on the statistics of these. Like I knew it would be hard to find one of these. Oh, here we go. That was a filled room. Cool. And then sometimes those rooms will be filled with treasure. And that's when we have a way of doing that. Cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to run an ad, and then you guys can put your last questions together, and I'll answer them all, and then I'm going to head out. So let's do that. And I guess if you're like YouTube Premium, you get to stick around. Somebody's asking if Steam Deck will be supported. Probably. I would say we probably would support Steam Deck. Somebody's asking how often will you stream? I stream a lot. So subscribe to the channel and find out. Also, I usually announce them on X and the other platforms we're on. Oh, thank you so much for the donation. What loot do you think the dungeon will have in it? I don't know yet. I think it'll probably be some sort of resources that are available inside the game. There's a beta application. Yeah, let me throw the beta link on the top of the page before I go. Thank you for sticking through the ads. That actually helps us a lot. Put the beta on there. We'll go back to the... If you come back to the next stream, I'm like 90% sure we have picked the name of the game. So we'll announce that on the next stream if you show up. Somebody's asking, when will the dungeons be finished? I don't know. Hopefully soon, because I've spent too much time on this. Thoughts on it coming to Xbox? I'd like the game to be on Xbox. It's not up to me. It's up to Microsoft. But Unreal will let us do that. Take another maybe question or two before I get out of here. Okay, it doesn't seem. I'm not seeing any more. I'm not seeing any more questions in the chat. Somebody's asking if I'll be their dad. I don't think that that's possible. Are there planned secrets for the game? Yes, there is. Definitely. I appreciate everybody coming by for the stream. I'll try to do one of these soon in the next few days. The butterfly knives. That's another one. I got a gun jamming and butterfly knives came from the last stream, and I thought those were really good suggestions. So thank you very much. Appreciate everybody coming by. Let's do it again.